Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Asian Psycho. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick review on the all-new Snake T-2. This is one of the newest NX rare weapons that Nexon introduced in the last patch into their NIST N Plus cases. And yeah, this is not only just a cosmetic variant, but also an upgraded variant of the T-2 submachine gun. If you guys have heard of it, then good. If you haven't, then not surprising, because not a lot of people have this gun or have the T-2. So the Snake's T-2 is, quite honestly, I was surprised they made a variant of this, because I mean it's a good submachine gun, don't get me wrong. It's just that, as with most NX standard submachines that they or NX standard weapons that they put out, it's really good for like the first month, and after that they secretly nerf it somehow so that it's not very good anymore. But that's besides the point. The Snake T2 is once again a buffed variant of the original T2, and without further ado, let's get started on talking about its stats. So, the Snake T2 has a damage of 37. This means that it is basically tied in the damage department with the UMP, the Wraiths, CC Scorpion Evo 3A1, and among other submachines that also have 37 damage. So, compared this to the original T2 had only 36 damage, so as you guys can tell, 36 minus 37, you guys do the math, hopefully you can do that. That means that the Snake's T2, or the Snake T2, it's not Snakes, but Snake T2 has 1 point extra in the damage department. Portability is at an 89, which means that, once again, it has 1 more point portability over the original T2, which only had 88, which, again, these are submachine guns, so it's not like it's the biggest difference in the world, though the 1 point to damage is actually a pretty good, pretty significant increase, because the reason for that is because a lot of NX standard submachine guns have exactly 36 damage, and in combat arms, 36 damage is basically about that sweet spot where if you hit people enough times with enough bullets in enough time, hopefully that makes sense, it'll melt them entirely. Like, if you've ever used the submachine guns, such as the NX standard submachine guns, such as T2, the BB Rapi, or technically that only has 35, but in any case it's similar enough. The Scorpion Evo 3A1, what is it called? The FMG9 Magpool, or Magpool FMG9, that also has only 35 damage, but it's pretty similar regardless. You'll notice that if you hit all of your bullets, they just drop. They just instantly drop. And 36 damage, because of that, I feel like 36 damage is just the right amount of damage for a good submachine gun in combat arms. I believe the P90 TRIC also has 36 damage, which explains why it's so goddamn good. So for the Snake T2 to have 37 damage, it makes it as powerful as, like I said, the original GMP, the GP UMP, and the Wraith Scorpion Evo 3A1. And for those of you guys who have used the UMP and whatever, the UMP is very, very strong, or at least it feels that way. So yeah, it just 37 damage, more than you need for a submachine gun, but we'll come back to it in a second. The rate of fire has not been changed at 90. I'd be surprised if Nexon gave any gun a faster rate of fire than 90. I mean, hell, even the minigun only has 90 rate of fire. And the accuracy and recoil have been unchanged at 76 and 64 apiece. Other than that, the only non-statistical aspect, or the non-statistical aspects that have been changed about the T2, are the fact that it has a custom snake skin camo, which looks pretty good. I honestly think it looks better on the DSO-1 Subsonic, but again, it's all preference. But also, it comes with an additional magazine of ammunition. So instead of starting with 30 bullet rounds in the magazine and 90 in reserve, you come with a total of 120 rounds in reserve. So total, including your current magazine, it comes with 150 bullets. So this makes it on par with other submachine guns, such as the Mac 11 SC, the Hannon's Mac 10, the Maze MP7 mod, Wraiths, CC Scorpion Evo 3A1, and other such guns that have a total of 150 stock ammunition. So you have a lot of bullets with this thing. I mean, makes sense, because it's a submachine gun, you tend to spray it around everywhere. Now, what are my personal opinions on the actual Snake T2 itself? This is going to be very surprising for a lot of you, and this was also surprising for me as well when I first tried out this gun. The Snake T2 honestly doesn't seem as good as the original T2. This might sound very counterintuitive, because there's, statistically speaking, if you just look at the cold hard stats and just see how much the Snake T2 has been improved over the original T2, you think, like, well, Asian, that doesn't make any sense. It's got an additional point of damage and portability. I mean, and it's got another mag of ammunition. Like, how is it not good, or how is it not better than the T2 at least? Well, first of all, I want you guys to take this with a grain of salt because I have not used the original NX standard T2 in a very long time. I'd have to go back and use it again to see what they changed with it. I just honestly feel like the Snake T2 is... here's the main problem with Snake T2. The bloom on the Snake T2 is a bit too excessive, in my honest opinion. That was one of the problems that kind of plagued the original T2 in the past, where after they nerfed it, where it would just bloom a little bit too much, and that's why I really didn't feel like this T2 was really good at anything other than extremely close range, where you don't really have to worry about the bloom because you know all your bullets going to hit your target if you're right next to them or if you're right next to your enemy. However, if you get right next to your enemy, chances are you're going to die a lot. So that's one of the problems I did have with the T2 post-patch or post-nerf. Before that, though, I remember the T2 was really excellent for mid-range combat because the bloom wasn't as bad as it was after they nerfed it. The Snake T2 seems to have that same problem, if not worse. So the fact that at medium range, I don't feel comfortable using the Snake T2 and I'm forced to kind of burst fire it or tap fire it, that does... For submachine gun, look guys, for submachine gun, if you need to worry about burst firing it or tap firing it or controlling your recoil in any way out to mid-range, that's a problem. That is a problem, because for a submachine gun, you're not supposed to have to worry about that. For an assault rifle, yes, for assault rifle, you need to worry about that because the hipfires are worse off at medium range than the submachine guns are. The submachine guns problems is that if you keep firing it with sustained fire, submachine guns tend to have a lot of drifting recoil, whereas assault rifles typically have very stable recoil patterns. However, the Snake T2 has not only unstable recoil patterns, but also the bloom is just horrible. So, and on top of that, the accuracy just goes everywhere. And so, fuck the accuracy rating on this thing. It's not 76, because in fact, overall, you should generally disregard accuracy ratings for submachine guns just in general, because it's like, well, fuck, man. No one really knows how accuracy really defines your hipfire spread unless someone out there has actually proven that accuracy has tied in directly with your hipfire spread or whatever. So until someone proves that, I'm not really too sure why submachines even have an accuracy to begin with. Maybe it's that if you put a scope on it, it's better at longer range as well. Thing is, for combat guns, at least how I play, if you need a scope on your submachine gun, you're kind of doing something wrong. So, yeah. Anyways, I probably went off on a tangent there. Thing is, my point is, it's just at mid-range where you should at least have a chance to beat other people. The Snake T2 just does not perform whatsoever. You're either gonna have to depend on getting a lotto or just hope that your enemy, the guy you're shooting at, just has really fucking terrible aim. There's really no getting around it, in my honest opinion, and in my experience. You'll probably see that in the gameplay as well, but I don't know, man. The Snake T2 just doesn't perform for me. Maybe I'm just not very good with it. Maybe some of you guys who have it, or who already have it, maybe you guys are a lot better with it than I am, or yeah, with this thing than I am. But I don't know. I just feel like that's one of the main problems that the Snake T2 has. Another problem that I do see with the Snake T2 is the fact that even though the damage rating does say on Commander's Wiki that it has a 37 damage rating, I honestly can't fucking tell the difference, man. It just feels like the original NX standard T2 as far as damage is concerned. I just feel like I don't see where it kills faster. For the Wraiths, CZ Scorpion Evo 3A1, I can definitely feel that it's stronger than the original CZ Scorpion, the NX standard one. But the Snake T2, I can't say the same. I honestly feel like they have the exact same damage rating, and and I'm sure it is more powerful if I do take the time out to actually individually test it in like Junk Fleet War Man or something like that with some test dummies. But in game, it doesn't really convince me that it's any stronger than the original T2, because after all, tests are all fine and dandy until you actually go ahead and use them in a good old public match where you're gonna use them in order to play video games, or play video games, obviously, to play combat arms games. If it doesn't perform in a normal pub match, I mean, to hell with tests. The tests can only take you so far. So the Snake T2, unfortunately, I can't recommend this to anyone unless you really want that snake set. Which again, don't really know why you would want to go for these sets, because they're just. I mean, if you want the extra EXP, you might as well just go get like EXP points or something. But other than that, though, just don't get the Snake T2. It's just not. Just no, don't get it. Just if you really want the T2, just go ahead and get their NX standard one. Just there's no point in getting the NX real one. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this review. There's really, again, Snake T2's fancy. It's better than the original one. Just in my honest opinion, there's just no reason to get it because it's not any better. It's not any worse. It's worse for me personally, but if you guys can make it work, then that's great. But again, you just have to get your hands on it first. And on top of which, it's an NX rare weapon, so good luck getting your hands on it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you guys later.
Round start. Planting a mine. Round start. Shot. Team. Grenade. Fire. Round start.